Hi, welcome to the Rittners Floral School in Boston, Mass. I'm Dr. Steve Rittner, and it's a pleasure to welcome you into one of our classrooms today. We've got something really neat that we want to show you, share with you, and I think you're going to really find it interesting and enjoyable. You notice the container that I happen to have in front of me. It's not a typical floral design container. It actually happens to be a toy truck. Now, why would I be showing you a toy truck in doing a floral demonstration? Well, the reason is that one of the things that we stress at Rittners Floral School is the concept of personalization. Personalization. In other words, when you're coming up with a floral design, find out the person's hobbies, needs, the person's likes, their interests, and then incorporate that into floral art. And what we have here is a toy truck. This would possibly be used for a party for a child, maybe a birthday, something along that line. But the concept is that we make a beautiful floral design in this that will help shape space and make it look really neat. And at the end, after the flowers go, the youngster gets a toy that he or she could play with, enjoy, and have as a keepsake of a great occasion and a great event. And so that's the whole concept here. Now, we've already got some foam secured inside our little toy truck. And I'm going to start off on this design with some of our Bells of Ireland. Bells of Ireland are a great flower, and we want to come up with a really impressive effect and something that's big and showy. Notice it's even come above where our camera frame is, so that we have to kind of back our camera up a little bit so we can get the whole thing. And we're going to take some of our Bells of Ireland and we're going to use it to create a shape or a form on this design so that we can really see the parameters of it. And I'm starting up here, and I'm working down over here, and I'm going to add another piece, I think, over on this side so that we can angle it out over on this side a bit. So you can see the way this thing is really going to develop very, very nicely for me. And I'm going to continue using some of my Bells of Ireland over on this side as well. The neat thing about Bells of Ireland is they're big, they're beautiful, they're showy, and they curve sometimes in the neatest ways. And so in taking this and working it in here, I can come up with a very, very neat effect very, very quickly. And notice how large this design can actually become. This could be used in an entry area, it could be used on a mantle, it could be used in a wide variety of different contexts in terms of the way it's displayed. But this really is giving us a fairly good sized piece. Now, we are getting the idea on this particular design of construction because it is a kind of construction truck. So in order to continue reinforcing that concept of construction, I'm going to take some of my bamboo or river cane, and I've taken a few pieces of river cane and tied them together so that it kind of almost gives the feeling of girders and something that's being assembled, that's being put together, maybe at a construction site. And so in that way, we're kind of getting in this idea of construction and working this into the design. And I'm going to take another piece of my my river cane and angle it over here. River cane is a really neat stuff. Sometimes we call it river cane, sometimes we call it bamboo. But I think you can see it really gives an interesting effect when we're doing one of these kinds of designs. Now, so far we've got a general framework within which we're working our design materials. This is larkspur. Larkspur. I love this stuff. It comes in blue, it comes in lavender, it sometimes comes in pink and white. And I'm going to use a few of our blue-purple larkspur to again reiterate and continue this concept of our line that we've started with our Bells of Ireland. And I'm going to alternate a little bit of this stuff through my piece and work it into the design so that it'll become a little bit more visually interesting and appealing. It won't feel like it's all just the same kind of thing. And in that way, we get a little bit more visual variety in our design. So taking some of my larkspur, I'm taking it, gradually working it around. I have some over here, here, and here. Let's work something over on this side as well. So this is gradually filling in, and we have a general framework on our design. One of my favorite flowers, and of course one of the favorite flowers of everybody, is the rose, and I have some really, really pretty roses here. Let's take some of our roses and work it in. And I'm going to work my rose in between so that it's kind of worked in around this kind of construction thing that I've got going on here. And I'm going to continue to take my roses and play with them and gradually add more bulk and dimension to my design, bringing it around over here. This is a big one. It looks really, really nice. And then perhaps bringing one over along this side So I'm gradually building this design up, adding more content to it, so that the design gradually has more bulk, and I'm working my way around with a mixture of things. I think that to really add some punch to the design, we've got so far our greens, our lavender blues, our pinkish kind of colors. How about a punchy flower? And there's no flower that will add so much impact as, say, a mini sunflower, because mini sunflowers are bright, they're cheerful, and when people look at them, they definitely attract attention. So I'm going to work a couple of my mini sunflowers into this design, and I'm deliberately going to concentrate them down into the focal area of the design, right down here, because it definitely attracts our eye and attracts attention. Of course, to add to it, I'm going to play with some other yellow flowers too. Here is a carnation. It's an everyday flower. But you know, sometimes mixing our everyday flowers in with some of our more upscale materials such as our mini sunflowers and our roses can be very helpful and can create really neat contrast in form and shape. And so I'm going to add a couple of my carnations into the mix. And then let's go back to our roses and add a few more of our roses in here, placing one over here, placing another one over in here. So I'm gradually filling this design in, and what seemed rather air-conditioned up till now in terms of the front of the design is now gradually bulking up. Now I've got some of my larkspur around the edges of my design. Let's take a few pieces of larkspur and work it in towards the center. By working a few pieces of our larkspur in towards the middle of the design, we're going to achieve a greater unity here, and it also again gives us some contrast in shape, size, color, and so forth. And I'm taking a few of my pieces of larkspur, working here, here, and I'm going to work another one over here. Notice the way that's coming together so nicely for me. I've got another rose that's sitting here on the side of my design bench, so I think I'm going to sneak another rose right and back in here just for a little bit of depth and dimension. And yeah, I've got another flower, a very common flower, but it's really a fun one. Some of our daisy palms. They're bright, they're cheerful, and I'm going to take a few of our daisy palms and mix it in so that we get a continuation of our yellow theme that we started with our mini sunflowers and that we continued with our carnations. And now it's going to be continued and amplified through the use of our palms. The interesting thing is that the yellow of our daisy palm is different than the yellow of our mini sunflower, and that's different than the yellow of our carnation. So that we're getting some very interesting contrasts by playing with three different kinds of yellows as we are doing this design. And I'm taking some of my palms and I'm working them here and there through the design, bulking the thing up, as it were, filling in the center so that we get a more abundant and full kind of look to our arrangement. Isn't this beautiful, my viewer? I think you can see it really gives a neat effect. But this concept that underlies the whole thing on this design, and the trick is the concept of personalization in floral art. A really, really neat tool. In this particular case, we're using it to enhance a design meant for a youngster or to commemorate a special event for a young person. But it also could be used, let's say, if you had a special party for somebody who's in the construction industry. This would work very well for that as well. So it could be for the young or the young at heart. I got a few more pieces of my bamboo or river cane, and so I'm going to sneak a few in towards the center of the design. That's going to add to the visual complexity of this design in terms of the mixture of these things, so it almost feels like girders and things that are done in a construction site. To cover my mechanics, I could use some foliage if I wanted to. I'm going to just tuck a little bit of my Spanish moss into the design, into the infrastructure, and by doing that I cover any kind of mechanic that's showing so that it's nice and clean and covered, and it also gives it a more contemporary kind of feel by the use of some of our moss as well. What do you think, my viewer? Isn't it pretty? It gives a really, really neat effect, and it really works quite well. A design for a youngster or for the young at heart, but the concept is personalization in floral art. Thank you for coming in to Rittners Floral School today to see this brief demonstration. We hope you enjoyed it. At Rittners, we offer long courses, we offer short courses, we offer day and evening programs. We've got things going on here all of the time. And as you can see, our approach to floral art is dynamic, funky, and fun. We hope you enjoyed this brief demonstration. It was a pleasure having you come in and visit our school today. Thank you.